All right, brothers and sisters, good morning. This morning we're in Psalm 32, verses 1 and 2 that really blessed me. And David says this. He says, Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord, Yahweh, does not impute iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. You know, I remember when I first read this psalm, it blessed me so much to hear that God will forgive you of your sin. Blessed is the man whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. But there's only one way for that to happen. You must confess your sin. 1 John 1:9 says, if you confess your sins, he is faithful and just to forgive you your sin and purify you of all unrighteousness. And people are like, but God sees it. Yes, he does. It's one thing to do something and feel something and think something. It's another thing to put it into action. You know what I'm saying? Not to do something, forgive me. It's one thing to think and feel something. It's another thing to do it. And something about the words, the power in words. Proverbs says death and life are in the power of the tongue. The words you use hold power. So when you confess your wrongs to God, even though he's seeing you do it, there's a difference when you confess, hey, I am guilty of doing these things. Verse 5 in chapter 32 says this, I acknowledge my sin to you, and my iniquity I have not hidden. I said, I will confess my transgression to the Lord, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. Again, confession is key. Using your words not only to bless God and worship him, but to confess the wrong you've done. When a person confesses what he has done wrong, or male or female, they're forgiven. And there's this beauty in that. There's this comfort, this peace. People are like, well, how can you have peace after you sin? Well, when you confess it, you feel a lot better. Many people who are backsliding in the Lord or are going through problems, the first thing I ask them, hey man, well, you in the Word? They're like, yeah, man, I go to church and I pray. And I'm like, then what's going on, bro? And then it hits me. It's unconfessed sin in their life. It's unconfessed sin that has really brought them on that downward spiral. A lot of times they just got to give it to God. And then God will tell you, go confess to the person you've done wrong to, or he may not tell you to do that. The majority of the time, just confessing your sins to him, you are forgiven. Remember, the justice of God was satisfied at the cross. Everything you've done is under the blood, all right? You'll be judged by your fruit in the end game. But remember, in order to bear fruit, you must confess your sins. Confess your sins, be forgiven, and then sow seeds of righteousness. So brothers and sisters, remember, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord does not impute iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. How can that man be blessed? By confessing his sin to God. Much love, brothers and sisters. Have a blessed day. It's Monday, baby. Day one down, all right? Remember, choose wisdom over the world. God bless.